Good evening. My name is Bianca, and I am making this episode about how the Hamilton County Sheriffs and the Cincinnati Police and certain Ohio law enforcement are working with the Louise Inn to human traffic me, and I'm not sure if there's other women, but I'd like to talk about a situation that just happened outside of the Anna Louise, but on their property next to the bus stop. There is a black female suspect by the name of Mary. She goes around in a motor scooter and she starts a lot of drama, which that's not against the law. You just stay away from people like that. But today was different. She was up in a unauthorized spot, employee access area, and she was doing something and she calls me over, and so I come over to say something to her. Next thing I know, the white female that has the boyfriend that drives the black and white truck, so as I'm talking to Mary, she runs up in my direction assailing me. Luckily I looked up because it looked like she was going to start a physical altercation. Vianne comes outside, and Vianne is one of their management at Anna Louise. And before I start on Vianne, I think it's very unfortunate because when I first came here, she appeared to be great help to me. She helped me out with personal products. She, had definitely, looked out for me. So it's so sad to see her change to such unfortunate circumstances, but I must expose them as I'm exposing Anna Louise. So she comes out in the area and she starts yelling and she says, "No one's supposed to be back here." She gives the white female suspect a hug. Okay. And so after the female suspect tried to assail me, and I'm the only one that leaves off of the private area. Mary stays up there, and then the white female suspect starts menacing. And Vianne was menacing a bit too, but not as much. And she went back, she played it off. Next thing I know, I sit back down at the bus stop, and here comes Ohio Patrol, like they're stopping someone. So it looks like they're stopping someone, but what they're really doing is trying to frame me. So the Anna Louise management, Gordon, Bev, Vianne, so now I'm becoming aware that Vianne is involved. I'm sure a lot of people are involved and trying to frame me. What are they trying to frame me for? Because they have made a deal with the YMCA, this family that exists within the YMCA, the Gamble Nippert YMCA. They sell women out of their gym. They go around with a scam. It's a money scam. They commit all sorts of scams, and they put cameras in women's homes, and they start telling women they're a prostitute, and they start paying people to abuse the female as a prostitute by putting illegal surveillance. So this is what Vianne, this is what Gordon and Beth, this is what their staff, their management is trying to keep hidden. And how are they able to do this? How are they able to do frame work like this? They do it with the help of Cincinnati police. So that starts the episode right there. Cincinnati police and Hamilton County, they run a child prostitution ring, and they have strong connections through several organizations, not just the Anna Louise Inn, but at the Gamble Nippert YMCA. And somehow lifeguard Zachary, I don't know his last name, I barely found out his first name, but what he does is he sits around the pool. He targets females and children. He's very skilled at it. He places cameras in their home. Then he starts paying property owners, property managers to present the female as a prostitute. Once your videos are out there, everyone starts treating you like a prostitute. The money is good, and people are just going to go along with it. So that's what happened at the Anna Louise Inn. It's still currently happening. So now what we have here now is a bunch of staff, a whole bunch of management that's trying to cover what they've done. They're trying to cover their tracks, And the tenants that are involved are working with people like Vianne, like the situation I just described in the beginning of this episode, being out on the employee authorized area next to the bus stop of Reading Road, talking to Mary trying to set me up to talk to her. Then, out of the blue, the white female suspect, I don't know her name, but she stays on my floor and she does a lot of stalking and menacing. And she has the boyfriend, or whoever he is to her, husband, boyfriend, that drives the black car with the white door. So she runs up assailing, and she wasn't running, but very at a quick pace, like she was trying to catch me off guard, so that they could call the police, so that Vianne and them could call the police. So this is the type of games that they're playing on their property. Why are they playing these games? Because they know that they are guilty for human trafficking me on their property. They don't want it to come out, but it's definitely going to come out. Every day that I'm human trafficked, I'm definitely going to speak out about it. Anyone that tries to attack me, I'm going to talk about it. And I encourage any other person that may be going through such situations to speak out about it. Don't hold this in, because what this is several organizations of Freemasons. Freemasons run society. If you don't know anything about fraternities, sororities, Eastern Stars, I don't want to get too far ahead, but that's how these people make connections like this, hidden, because they are mostly Freemasons, and Freemasons know other Freemasons. So when you talk about police, when you talk about sheriffs, when you talk about even workers at the Anna Louise Inn, some of these people are Freemasons, and Freemasons are going to talk amongst Freemasons. And what Freemasons have been doing is selling, unaliving, butchering children in their positions of authority, their positions of power. And people like Vianne, people like Beth, people like Gordon, people like Evan, and several other people at the YMCA, Gamble Nippert, Hamilton County Judicial System, they've been in their positions of power, taking advantage of people, of normal civilians, such as myself. And this is how they've been doing it, working through their organizations, working through their jobs, running illegal businesses, money laundering, using banks to money launder, then doing charity, then putting checks up with blood money, saying it's from their organization, but it's really from human trafficking. So they're doing all sorts of cover-ups. Judges are in the courthouse stealing people's money, putting cameras in people's homes to unalive them, and they're committing all sorts of fraud in the Hamilton County Judicial System. Something I have nothing to do with, but since in 2022, two individuals decided that they wanted to steal from me. They felt that it was in me and my child's best interest to become human trafficked. So everywhere I go, they spread this information that I'm some type of escort, when it's them committing fraud, scams, perjury, high treason, and grand larceny. Look, guys, it's been a pleasure talking to you all. I really appreciate you all for listening. If you know anybody else that could use the information, definitely pass it along, or if anyone that could be any help. Hopefully I've said something that encouraged you or anything like that, of course. But that's pretty much it. Until the next episode, take care and God bless.